Hello there, everybody. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2020. It's an interesting day. It's the day after the election in the United States, an election that is, as of yet, undecided. And we're here as we are every single Wednesday with our Wednesday Hope and Healing Hour, wanting to bring hope, wanting to bring healing on both an individual level as well as on a collective level. My name's Royce Thomason. I am blessed with knowledge and gift as it relates to healing. And I'm always very happy to be able to share that knowledge and gift with people, whether it's training them to access the healing power that that exists within them, or actually working with people to support them in facilitating healing for pain, sickness, dis-ease, discord, or whatever a person might be experiencing in life. I just want to check in for a moment and see, pardon me, and see who it is that's with us today. If you could just say hello and maybe drop a quick comment in the chat or something just to let me know that you're here. I'm always glad to know who's joining us in the broadcast. I know it's on a little bit of a delay, about a 20-second delay or so from when the words come out of my mouth until the time that they enter your ears. Ronnie Hall, my mother. Okay, good to have you here, Mom. And I'm receiving that love and sending it back to you. I certainly appreciate your love and your presence being here. Anybody else who's here and would like to just say a quick hello or wave or something, just to let me know that you're here. I always, again, really appreciate knowing who's present in the broadcast. So I'm right now looking at this green light. That's all that I can see. I'm sending words and energy out there to hopefully be graciously received. And behind that, there's this ring light that I'm looking at. So I don't know who's there. I do love knowing who the actual people are beyond this green dot and this light that I'm that I'm looking at. And if you choose to share, I'd really appreciate that. If not, then so be it. But I'm always happy to see who's present with us in the broadcast. So, like I was saying earlier today, right when we started, is that today is an interesting day in the United States and likely the world as this country sits in a very significant role and position as it relates to all of humanity, even though there are less than, I think, 350 million people on the planet and some 7 billion people. That's only about 5% of all of the people that are on the planet. But it is a major player in terms of how things happen on a global scale. There's perhaps a lot of anxiety, tension, worry, concern that people are having today, the day after a very significant election, a day where still there are no ultimate results as to who will be leading this particular country for the next 4 years. So I want to check in is if there's anybody who's having any particular health challenge, any particular physical pain that you're experiencing, any kind of emotional stuff going on. There's no judgment, regarding whatever it is that you might be experiencing. One thing I do know for sure is that God loves you, and it's not the perfect will of God for you to be in a position where you're out of sorts. our desires to support you in returning to a state of harmony and balance within your body temple and within your uh, realm of your feelings and emotions and certainly your spirit and really all aspects of your existence. The more the people of planet Earth are tuned in to the ultimate truth of who we really are, the more we're in alignment with our divine blueprint according to which we were created, the more we're dwelling in a state of overall well being, the more we're in a position to really elevate, excuse me, the, um, the consciousness on the planet, the love and light that's on the planet as manifest through her inhabitants. So, okay, I see you feel very anxious um, regarding the soul of the nation being at risk, and there are a lot of people definitely that can relate to that. So let's take some time and actually focus some healing in that area. We'll specify it for you, but we'll also include that for for others as well, as I'm sure there are many people who are feeling anxious or worried or concerned or just perhaps feeling a bundle of different uh, emotions going on that may not feel so great. So let's take a moment to address that now. God, I know you to be a healer. And through the union that we share, through the power of the Holy Spirit and the power of your pure love, the God in me demonstrates you as a healer on the behalf of Ronnie Hall, as well as everyone who's feeling some uh, anxiousness and uh, just any type of discordant feelings uh, as it relates to the election, as it relates to the direction that the United States uh, may be going in, as well as the world. Transmuting that and purifying that, neutralizing that from the point of the causal root and the entire energetic structure in every cell of her body, every string particle of her existence, as well as that of everyone else who can identify, relate, or who's feeling any type of similar feelings. Transmuting that into and replacing it with a sense of peace of mind, with a sense of well being, with a sense of faith and hope, knowing that all things are working together for our good. And I bear witness to her wholeness and the wholeness of all who had been experiencing such things. Bear witness to complete wholeness, peace of mind, utter well being. On this date, beginning on this date, and in this time and space called now, thank you. Thank you for this gift of your divine love. It is done, it is done, it is done. All righty. And Angela Banks, I see, is here. Welcome, Angela. Always good to see you here. So let's begin this healing work. Um, so let's look at. I want to look at really kind of the collective consciousness of um, peace-loving people everywhere. Okay, and I want to look at collective consciousness as it relates to um, any sort of fear-based emotional state. I'm going to bring that back into harmony, back into alignment with the understanding that no matter what happens amongst people, that God is still the ruler of all things. And no matter what things might seem like, we're known, we're loved, we're guided, we're protected, and we're safe. And then I want to look at any type of internal conflict that there might be, even as it relates to those statements or those concepts or ideas, as it relates to experiencing the contrast of experience in just the living of life and what's been witnessed throughout history, with recent history and history from days of old. Working on neutralizing that, balancing that out, transmuting it into a state of awareness and memory of the perfect will of God being made manifest in situations that have seemed bleak in the past, and things ended up working out then, uh, and the faith that so too shall things work out now. Okay, that's looking a little better now. And um, let's look at ancestral trauma. Okay, that's actually a pretty significant one. So really want to do some work around ancestral trauma. Okay, ancestral trauma, um, going back 8 generations. Okay, and let's look at how many ancestors. Looking at 32 million ancestors. Clear that out of all of them simultaneously. And then going forward in terms of posterity. Okay, going forward 11 generations forward. Okay, so that all of that is balanced out as well. Okay, all righty. All righty, and let's look real quickly at the illusion of being in control. That's a big weakness. That's something that we as humans have some trouble with. Feeling a need to be in control. Uh, no, more so the illusion of being in control. Okay. And let's look at attachment to that illusion. We want to clear that out, purify that, um, and transmute that into spiritual and psychological readiness to see beyond the illusion and to accept the truth beyond the illusion. Okay. Okay. And I want to look again back at the collective consciousness where that's concerned. Um, and I'm opening up the collective consciousness uh, to feel a greater security in the presence of God at work, even if it's in ways that aren't understood. than um, feeling a sense of security in what one can see or what one can control oneself. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, how are you feeling right now as far as uh, that anxious feeling is concerned? And actually, I should ask, if would you like to actually come on camera, which actually allows us to actually be in real time. I know again that it's on a little bit of a delay, uh, and you're welcome, by the way. All right, and let's look at real quickly uh, faith in what one hopes for being greater than faith in what one, excuse me, faith in what one fears being greater than faith in what one hopes for. We want to switch that. We want to reverse that. Okay, Tamika, my 923 sister, welcome to you. And that's really precisely what we're working on and addressing right now. Just kind of putting some focus there as it relates to kind of on a collective basis. Okay. By the way, Myra, are you still there? Can you hear me? I was asking a moment ago if you wanted to actually come on camera. Okay. And Tamika, you vocalized something very similar. If you'd like to come on camera, we can bring you in as well if you'd like. Okay. Alrighty. Not sure if my mama's still around or not. She may be busy tending to grandchildren or something. Um, Kind of wanted to get some feedback on how she's feeling. By the way, Tamika, in terms of um, how you're feeling, in terms of like just uncomfortable feelings in general, um, if I ask you to rate that level of emotional discomfort on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 feeling completely calm and completely at peace, um, versus 10 being in the state of the greatest emotional turmoil that you could ever possibly imagine, where would you rate that right now? And I see that you said that you're not camera ready. If you'd like, we can also bring you on audibly, where you're on in real time, and you can choose not to actually share your camera, to make if you'd like to do that. Uh, that's an available option as well. Okay. All right. And I want to also look at memory. That's something I'm being drawn to look at right now is memory. Um, where memories being more so tied to uh, memories tuned in that are more so tied to quote unquote negative things that have happened, painful things that happened, and fears being validated. We want to transmute and purify all the conditions that make that likely into alignment with memory of how things have all come together and worked out for the good. Okay, so Tamika, you would say that you're between a 6 to 7.75. You've had work pressures, home pressures, and the selection has been quite overwhelming. Been inundated with commercials and information, and allowing that in your spirit has unsettled you for the past few weeks. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that. We'll certainly kind of bring all that into the space um, for healing to enter the space where those feelings and emotional states have been dwelling. Okay. And so let me look at any type of emotional predispositions to um, feeling overwhelmed by stress. Okay, whether ancestral, um, the people in your sphere of influence, or otherwise. All right, resolve that, kind of neutralize that. Um, and I'm feeling led to look at the reticular activating system within the brain. Um, so the things that we actually take in through our senses, those things actually end up settling into our subconscious awareness. Um, they're kind of stored in a part of the brain called the RAS, or the reticular activating system. And then those things end up being stored in our bodies, and manifest in different, not only emotional states, but even conditions that we end up experiencing that end up actually further um, intensifying those feelings and those emotional states that end up uh, putting one in alignment with less desirable outcomes. Now, it works both ways too, uh, depending on the things that are entering in the ear gate and in the eye gate, um, and the things within the collective consciousness as well. If they're more life affirming things, they're more life affirming feelings that end up happening. And um, and as a result, more life affirming experiences as well. All righty. By the way, Tamika, did you want to come on audibly without your camera? And Ma, if you're still around, please let me know as well. Okay. All right. So right now, let's look at a concept called mental poisoning that has to do with things that have been passed down via messages. I'll put it that way. Messages that you may have heard from others. Okay. All right. And all right, looking at about 32,000 of those. We want to neutralize those. Oh, okay. You're still at work. Okay, no worries. No worries, Tamika. All righty. By the way, Tamika, where would you rate it right now on that 0 to 10 scale? About the same or a little bit different? If you can just let us know that. Oh, you got switched over to your watch party now. Okay. Did you want to come on camera? Can bring you on camera and you can be in real time, or if you don't feel camera ready, we can bring you on audibly in real time, and you can just choose not to select your. You can just choose not to select your camera for your camera to be on. Okay. And no, I wasn't receiving your text. If you were doing it from the watch party, I wouldn't have been able to have seen it, I guess. Okay, about the same, Tamika, you're saying? All right, and having sleepless nights. Okay, all righty. Okay. The ideal situation is when the people participating can be kind of undistracted and undisturbed. So this is just causing me to kind of have to work a little bit harder, but um, we'll still work through it. Um, and I won't be able to go too long today because I've got to teach a class immediately afterwards. All right. So um, let me take a moment right now and really address my own stuff regarding all of this. Um, oh, that was Louise. Welcome, Louise. I've gotten mixed up in terms of who actually typed that earlier. Okay. All right. So let's look for a moment at just attachment to the outcome. Attachment to the outcome as it relates to the healing. We want to resolve that. Replace it with a sense of peace and mind and complete non-attachment to the outcome. Attachment to the outcome in terms of the results of the election. When that transmute, purify that through the light of the Holy Spirit and the power of pure love. All right. All right. And let's just kind of infuse into all of our awareness um, the reminder that um, that it's ultimately God that changes the hearts of people, and that that's something that exists beyond whatever human being might be in any political office. Okay. All right. And let's look at for a moment fear of the dark. All right. Want to be neutral where that's concerned, so there's no fear in operation. Um, whether that's fear of the unknown or fear of what we perceive to be dark forces, want to neutralize that, transmute it into the awareness, as Scripture tells us that we've been given power over all the power of the enemy. And let's look at confidence in our ability to walk in a greater authority. Okay. And trusting in that by God's grace. All right. And both Ma and Tamika, I'd like to kind of check in with both of you in terms of um, how you're feeling right now. Is about the same as when we get started, or if you felt any shift at all. It's kind of interesting because we're kind of doing this on a collective, which should include countless numbers of people. But um, my intention is that it has specific impact as well. It's going to have a little sip of water, maybe 2 sips. All righty. Okay. All right. So want to look at any psychic trauma. Okay. My AKA Ronnie Hall says you're feeling much calmer. All right. I'm glad to hear that. And Tamika, what about you? How are you feeling? About the same? A little bit different? Tamika says, I'm practicing my breathing and listening in on this session has calmed you a bit. Okay. All right. Glad to hear that. All right. So actually, I'm going to do something with both of you real quick, and anybody else who's feeling any degree of anxiety and stuff like that. I'm going to ask you to take a moment, if you can, and identify where in your body you're feeling that tension or anxiousness or whatever it is that you're feeling. Where is it registering in your body? If you can please jot that into the comments, that would be great. Because all things, even emotional things, are stored somewhere in the cells of the body. The mind exists throughout the entire body. Each cell of the body has its own brain, and different things are stored in the cells of different parts of the body. So if you two could both share when you get an opportunity or as soon as you can, where in your body you're feeling that. Okay, Ronnie says head and jaws. Louise says lower back. And Tamika, what about you? If you can jot that in the chat when you get an opportunity. Tamika says upper shoulders, neck, and chest area seems that's where most of your stress lives. Okay. So three different people experiencing or holding this um, emotional discomfort in three in different parts of the body, not necessarily three different parts of the body, but in different parts uh, of the body. Um, no two people in the same place, interestingly enough. All right, so I'm going to ask actually each of you all to do something real quickly. And I'm going to ask you if you can, just for a moment to call forth and welcome in God's presence into that area of your body. Okay. Just to invite God's presence into that area of your body. The truth is that we experience different things in life and then we kind of close off a part of ourselves to try to minimize the pain and the hurt and all of the stuff that we don't like to feel, uh, and an intention to protect ourselves. But what also happens is that we actually end up closing ourselves off from that which actually keeps us safe in the first place. And so every issue that we experience in our lives uh, actually is the result of some area that we've closed off and not fully welcomed in the presence, the power, the love, and the grace of God into that particular space. Okay. Now, I'd like to ask each of you all again if um, if you felt any shift. Does it feel the same as it did before, or do you feel some level of shift somehow? If you can just let that be known in the comments whenever you get an opportunity. All right. Um, and it may take a moment, to be able to respond. And if anyone doesn't feel much of a shift, what I'm going to ask you to do is to close your eyes and allow yourself. Don't try to force it or anything, but allow yourself to see what color that discomfort is. Tamika said about the same. Ronnie says head is much better, jaw still tight, but a little bit more relaxed. And what about you, Louise? um, okay, so Louise says seems like it dropped to the tailbone. Back feels better though. Okay, all right. So I'm going to ask each of you to close your eyes, try to see if you can see what color the pain is, um, or the discomfort, or the anxiety, whatever the discord is. Um, and if you can just jot in the comments what color it is when you see that. Okay. And if you don't see anything, don't worry about it. Don't try to force it or anything. This is more about an allowing. All right, so I'm going to start with this tailbone and kind of work the way up. And we're kind of doing this on the collective, so it's a little bit spread out as opposed to being as specified as I would usually like it to be. Okay, you say dark blue, and I'm going to ask that you uh, receive like a magic eraser from God, or you might want to visualize it as like the hand of God or something, and take that and erase all of the dark blue away. Just take it and erase all the dark blue away. All right. In the meantime, we're going to uh, delve into, for a moment, foundational beliefs. We'll look at foundational beliefs that the world is a cruel place. Even if this isn't something that a person consciously thinks, this is something that could be deeply, deeply held within the subconsciousness. Okay. We want to transmute that into the awareness that heaven is an incredibly peaceful, profoundly beautiful place. And the awareness, as Jesus said, if somebody tells you the kingdom of heaven is over there, or if it's over there, don't believe that. I tell you that the kingdom of heaven is within you and all around you. So remembering that heaven is a place of complete bliss and joy and peace, and it's not somewhere out there, but that is present right now. A sustainable state of supreme satisfaction. Okay. By the way, Tamika or Louise, you have a color that you were able to see by any chance? Alrighty. Well, kind of worked way up the central nervous system. Actually, let's speaking of central nervous system, let's actually upgrade your wiring for you all who are here. For all of us, upgrade the gauge of our wiring to be able to handle more energy. So um, the nature of the nervous system is that it's electrical in nature. Okay, and similar to how you might have a circuit breaker or a fuse box in your home, and those are designed to for the fuse to blow or the circuit uh, to cut off when too much energy is going over it, so that it doesn't short circuit the system and cause an electrical fire inside your home. In a similar way, when you have stronger wiring or a heavier gauge of wiring, a stronger gauge of wiring, you're able to have more electricity or more energy flow through that. So, for instance, um, if you have an electrical stove or an electrical dryer, those types of things tend to have a different plug than what you would plug, for instance, a lamp into, because they're designed to be able to handle more energy. And so we're actually at a time on the planet where there is more energy present. Um, and I'm not putting a judgment on the energy in terms of whether it's good or bad, but there's more energy present, period. There's more information that's being taken in. There's more energy that's being uh, just sent out and broadcast. Louise and Tamika say no color, no color at this point. Okay. And that's okay. So we want to upgrade that wiring by 9,000%. Okay. In terms of your central nervous system and peripheral nervous system as well. Yeah, definitely the peripheral nervous system as well. And kind of want to look at, just everybody's myelin sheath and meninges, pia mater, dura mater, mandibular, cerebral spinal fluid, that's clear and free. Alrighty. Okay. And want to look at stress hormones, adrenaline, and cortisol. Bounce those out. And actually, in connection with that, let me look for a moment at the um, part of the brain. We call it the amygdala, which is a reptilian part of the brain. When it's activated, we tend to go in that fight or flight mechanism. That's when that adrenaline and those other stress hormones kick in. Okay. All right. And And since there isn't necessarily opportunity to run or to fight in some of these types of situations, finding healthy channels for the energy to actually go, healthy channels to put the energy into. Okay, all right. Glad that you're feeling better. I'm actually going to be signing off in a few as well. Um, like I said, I've got to run to teach a class, um, but I'm definitely glad that you're feeling better. And I don't know if I'll still be on when you get back, but I love you, and you have a great rest of your day. And Tamika and Louise, I'd like to check in with you all and see how are you two feeling. I know that both of you said that you didn't see any color at that point in terms of um, what I was asking about earlier, and that's okay. Okay, and I want to just scroll up and trying to remember something that I saw earlier. Okay, Tamika, you said your upper shoulders, neck, and chest area. Okay. Tamika says, feeling a little bit better, just need to learn to quiet your mind. So let's actually look at your mind and what might have your mind being overactive. Um, let's look at sensory inputs. I'm getting that there's a lot of stuff that's going into your mind, and then it's just getting kind of stuck there, kind of running around out there. All right. So let's find a place for all of that energy to go, or those thoughts to go. Um, actually, let's just um, turn down the volume on all that. Turn it down by 80%. Okay. Where you can still be aware of your thoughts, but not overwhelmed by them. Okay. And Louise, I'm glad that you're feeling better. Yeah, I got to run at 2 p.m. too. All righty. And Tamika, I want to ask you real quickly. Um, yeah, it's a good point. Aware, not overwhelmed. I want to ask you: do you typically feel this way, or are you feeling this way more so like today and yesterday, or maybe this week, as it relates to things that have been going on where the election is concerned? If you can just let me know that, I'd really appreciate that. Okay. All right. And really, as far as being aware but not overwhelmed, um, want to increase your overall, help increase your overall sense of serenity in terms of those things that are outside of your control, and being able to let those things go and surrender them to God. And at the same time, the courage and the wherewithal the intestinal fortitude to address those things that are appropriate for you to address, that you can create some change regarding uh, and where it's appropriate to do so. Okay. And then a clear sense of awareness between the two. All right. So you said that it's been building for a while. You don't think it's totally about the election, just adds to everything you're currently dealing with. That last week was really tough. Okay. So, so what our main focus had been today had been really connected with things related to the election to a large extent. But let's take a moment and kind of zero in a little bit. Um, do you feel comfortable sharing anything about last week, Tamika? Want to kind of zero in for a minute and give you some more kind of particular support, if we may. And I'll just keep working as I'm waiting for you to type. Okay. All right. So let's see. Stress from work and challenges with your teenage son. Okay. Let's look at the stress from work first. Um, and then balancing work and home, or work and son specifically. Uh, your son facing what he's experiencing as a teenager, and in the context of uh, not having an outlet and everything with the pandemic. Okay, so let's help to kind of balance that out. Okay, and just kind of want to look for a moment. We'll look at your um, breathing in, but not really exhale. Okay, I'm going to support you in being able to actually exhale. Okay, and allow your shoulders to drop and your head to go back. Okay, just in general. All righty. And I want to also look at any other type of external worries or concerns. Okay. All right. So Tamika, I know that you're still working, and that kind of somewhat complicates things a little bit because I know you're trying to get your work done, while we're doing this and everything. And I don't know if you're what the situation is with school with your son, if he's actually at school or if he's learning from home, or what's going on there. Um, how are you feeling right now in this particular moment? If you can just jot that in whenever you get a chance, because we're getting ready to close out the moment here. We're glad that Louise is feeling definitely uh, improvement, and then my mother Ronnie Hall is feeling better. Okay, both of your children are learning from home while you're working. Um, okay. Okay, Louise. God bless you. Thank you. I received that. God bless you too. Um, safe journeys as you're traveling on the road. I'm gonna have to go in a moment too, although I'm staying in the same room. Um, but safe journeys. God bless you. It was good connecting with you as always. Okay, Tamika, I'm glad that you say you actually feel better. Didn't realize it, but your shoulders were tight the whole time. That you're more relaxed now. I'm glad to hear that. I kind of picked up on that at the end with the shoulders and stuff. Um, feel free to reach back out to me later though, Tamika. You know, with an update or something. You can just send me a direct message. Okay. I'll need to run, but let me just kind of close this out real quickly. Um, just in terms of past and future concerns, uh, the idea that it takes time for healing to take place. We want to just wipe that out and replace it with the idea that it can be right now, uh, that it can be as soon as already. Okay, all right. Thank you. I received that. Many blessings to you too. All right, and let's just take a moment and God, thank you so much for all that we've experienced and shared here today over the last hour. Thank you for allowing your presence to be with each and every one of us who's participated in this live today. Those who those who are actively receiving part of the healing, those who are able to benefit nonetheless, and all of us as a whole, as a collective. I pray your peace and your presence and your power at work in the United States of America and indeed the world. I give great thanks that you, in spite of what it is that we might come up with, plan or scheme in our minds as human beings, at the end of the day, that you are in control and you've got it all covered. And that indeed we really are taking care of, that you are perfecting the things that concern us, that the battle has already been fought, the victory has already been won. We thank you that we can look to our heels from whence cometh our help, knowing that our help comes from the Lord who made heaven and the earth and all that dwell therein. And for this we give great thanks in the name and nature of Jesus the Christ. All righty. Tamika, you take care too. Thank you. Everybody who stopped in, many blessings to you. I love you. God bless you. And you have a bountiful rest of your day and week. And know that no matter what happens, we're going to be all right. And in fact, we already are. God bless you.